Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me again. It's another episode of the preview show. Today I have with me Eden Prairie. Thank you for joining me tonight, ladies. Coach,
Thanks for having us, Eric.
no problem. We will have you start, Coach, introduce yourself, then we'll go to the players, and then we'll get right into the thick of things.
Okay, I'm Ellen Wiese. I'm the varsity girls basketball coach at Eden Prairie. And I've got my three captains on board here.
And we'll start with Nia for the players.
My name is Nia Holloway. I'm a senior and I play forward.
I'm Myra Moorjani. I'm a senior also, and I'm a guard.
My name's Lenz. I'm a junior this year and I play point guard.
Once again, thank you for joining me tonight, ladies. So what we usually do is we take just a peek back at last year. We don't want to stay there too long. We want to always focus on the future. So Coach, just to kind of give your thoughts on last year. I know it was what we call COVID year. We were lucky to kind of have a year playing in mask. Just kind of the thought on the lessons to learn from the team and kind of what your team could take from next year into this year.
Sure. Well, everything started on a very bad note when Myra tore her ACL in her soccer season. So that, that really set us back. Because Myra would have been a huge part of our plan last year. Not only her on the court presence, but her off the court presence is amazing. So yeah, that really started us behind the eight ball to start the season. And then we played really well at times, and then we just definitely didn't play our best at the end of the season. No excuses. We did everything we could. We just we couldn't get past Minnetonka. And I think we all thought we had that section game, and then it just literally slipped through our hands. A lot of things went wrong, and it was just kind of like the perfect storm for them, and for us it was the perfect storm, but on the wrong end of it. So that kind of tied up last season. I mean, the good parts were we brought in some 2025 kids that really started to contribute in very big ways towards the end of the season. So we really started transitioning to this season as last season was going on. And we feel like we're in a really good place now to take the lessons learned in terms of, I think it's going to be the big lessons are going to be mental and physical toughness. And if we can get those right, we're going to do some really good things.
And then Molly, I'll have you kind of talk a little bit because you're kind of backcourt mates with Myra. So you would be kind of going to like, what was it like having her more, on the bench, kind of giving you the vision from there, seeing a different perspective and kind of, timeouts, her in your ear, kind of telling you what she's seeing kind of thing.
It was helpful. I mean, to have her, like someone that can play point guard on the bench too, just like seeing it while you're not in the game is completely different. But like, obviously it would have been better to have her out there with us, but she still contributed like in every way she could.
And then Myra, kicking it to you, what did, they always say, no one ever wants an injury, but, kind of the silver lining to them always is getting a new, perspective of the game. You're on the bench, you're seeing it you're seeing what the coaches are seeing when they kind of, I've heard players say it clicks. I know why they said this over and over and over again when I'm seeing it from there. Kind of describe, what you saw last season from, your perspective.
Yeah, well, it was definitely a different perspective, learning from the coaching, like not worrying about what like playing time or if I'm not like making my shots or whatever it is. But yeah, I feel like what I learned the most is to not take any practice or game for granted because it can be taken away so fast.
And then we'll move forward to this year. We'll start with Nia. Is there a game that you guys have circled, dotted? We're excited for this one. Every game's important, but is there a game or is it kind of the next game on the schedule is the most important one? Or kind of what's your guys' mentality?
I would say, like you said, like it's always the game that's right in front of you. That's the most important. You don't want to accidentally overlook any certain team by looking ahead to games that you might be more excited for. So one game at a time is really going to be like our mentality this year.
And then starting with this year, we'll start with coach and then as the players. When it comes to kind of setting goals and expectations, are you the type of coach that's kind of, we focus on the little things day by day and then the big things will take care of themselves? Or do we put a goal out there, saying our goal every year is state, in that term, that these are the steps we're going to take to kind of get there?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely every year our goal is state, but I mean, I think these guys will agree that we focus on the little things every single day. And they are told over and over again that the difference between, being good and great is doing the little things all the time versus some of the time. So we definitely do that. And I think, in the late conference, echoing what Nia said about just looking to the next game. I mean, in the late conference, you can't get ahead of yourself. I mean, it is so tough night in and night out. I mean, it's just a grind. And so I think, we are taking things one game at a time, but I think also, for me, it's really about knowing what our potential is and seeing what that is, and then just trying to attain that standard every time we play. And if we do that instead of focusing on, you know, winning, we will win if we can maintain the standard that we can get to. So I think that's our real focus is, being our best night in and night out, and then results and where we get in the postseason will definitely show itself.
And then Myra, as one of the captains, you three as the captains, is it kind of it's your kind of, how do you guys make sure the rest of the team kind of stays on that, do the little things, kind of keeping that, kind of making sure they stay on track in games, kind of keep level headed, in the ups and downs of a game and a season?
Yeah, well, I know especially since last year I was on the bench the whole season. Our bench is like a huge part of our team. Like everyone on the JV team and everyone that's sitting out during varsity taking a sub, like everyone's super into the game, cheering everyone on. So that always helps us so that everyone stays engaged and focused.
And then I like to have the players kind of describe their teammates, kind of get the perspective. Molly, talk about what it's like having Nia in the post. I mean, you have someone you can rely on to kind of clean it. If a guard if you get screened off and a guard gets going, she's gonna swat that shot into about the 10th, maybe 12th row. She's gonna get the rebound. Kind of talk about what that's like.
It's nice because she's like she can guard any position to like 1 to 5. So if we have to switch a screen or something, it's never like anything that you have to worry about. And then it's also nice like the amount of rebounds that she gets for us.
Nia, talk about having Myra. I know she's the defensive stopper. I remember that. Her energy on defense, I could feel that in the stands. So kind of talk about her as a combo guard, her ability to score and kind of play both ends of the court.
It's really nice having Myra on the team. Obviously, I haven't played with her since high school, since last year, 2 years ago. But it's really just Myra's energy, because once Myra gets going, it really helps the rest of us get it going. It's like, oh, we see Myra like diving on the floor and stuff. It makes like us want to dive on the floor and stuff like that. So it's really nice having Myra on the team.
And then Myra, having a point guard that can, I describe her as fiery. She can kind of be that fire for your team from the point guard position. Kind of get what's it like for you guys out there?
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to play the 2 or 3 spot and have Molly handle the point guard and know like she's solid there. Yeah, and she is very fiery, very shifty. Yeah, her pull-up jumpers.
Crafty.
And then coach, I'll have you just, these three captains that we have here, just say a little bit about each one of them, kind of, from the coaching perspective, what it's like that you can turn to them and rely on them, and, in a game and off the court and on the court.
Yeah, great question. I mean, these three really, epitomize what we've done the last or since I came to Eden Prairie, as far as trying to change the culture and make sure it was all about team first, supporting each other, letting go of any individual goals, accolades. It was all just about doing things together and playing as a team. And these three completely epitomize that. They want to win as bad as, any group I've ever had. But they're gonna do it the right way. And by that I mean they're gonna play together, they're gonna uplift their teammates, on and off the court. And then the last thing is they're just gonna be an incredible example for all the underclassmen, the youth, everything, because they conduct themselves, in the right way. They take care of their stuff in the classroom. They're very generous with their time, and they're committed to helping Eden Prairie girls basketball all the way from the little kids up. So yeah, they're everything you could ask for and more. And this is the year when we really have to kind of ride their coattails, and I as a coach have to let them kind of lead the way, because I trust them implicitly. I mean, if I for some reason didn't show up for a practice, these three got it. That's never going to happen, but they could handle it. So yeah, I have absolute faith and trust in the three of them.
Now to the three players. I like to have a little bit of fun. Is there any coachisms that coach, says that, that you can come up that everything game in, game out? Bonus points if you can do an impersonation.
No.
I'm getting no. I always say maybe I should ask in the middle of the season when they're right in the heart of practice and every day in and day out. I should maybe ask them.
I don't know.
What you got, you guys?
This isn't really a
Anything-
coachism, but just when she takes aux, like she plays music, it's really
Oh.
funny because she always knows all the words and everything. It's so funny.
That is true. That is true.
Gotta get them hyped. Gotta get them hyped to start out.
That is true. Yeah. What
Nia,
else
Molly,
you got?
a-
Come on,
any-
Molly
any
Wood.
things?
Nia.
Trying to think.
I'm pretty chill.
Well, this isn't really like a coachism either, but it's like when we're doing like film and stuff, sometimes like something really funny will be happen and she'll be like, oh, rewind that. And then we'll like watch it like 4 or 5 times. I think that's really funny.
I do
Gotta
like
enjoy the funny stuff on the court, I'm telling you.
I do like doing that a lot.
So, and then
Yeah.
I always ask the coach this because I always, as a fan, I'm someone that's a fan of the Minnesota Lynx, and it always stuck with me when Cheryl Reeve would talk about the point guard on the, the coach and the coach on the floor is using the point guard. And so I'll kind of ask Molly and then coach, that role of point guard and head coach, like I'm sure it's always a little bit give and take, kind of, trusting that they're gonna make the right call, knowing that they can ask questions. I'll start with you, Molly, kind of describe, from your perspective, that relationship with coach from, being that point guard that gets the team in sets, gets, kind of, you have to know where everyone is on both sides at all times.
I like it. I mean, I think like she trusts me and the rest of the team enough to just like do what we know how to do. And then like she's very open to questions and like listening and teaching instead of just like getting mad if we don't know something, which is nice.
And then coach will kick it to you kind of on that point guard head coaching relationship.
Yeah, I think Molly said it well. I mean, I think I'm very detail oriented in practice. I mean, kind of insanely so. Making us do things over and over and over again. And then when it comes to games, trying not to micromanage and trying to trust, or just trusting, it's not only my point guard, Molly, but it's the other kids. Especially my captains here. I do really trust them. I mean, these three, and then of course a lot of others on our team are really veteran basketball players. I mean, the amount of basketball they've played at this point between AAU and high school, middle school, all the way down, is incredible. And they've played in all sorts of situations, and especially through AAU, they've played in a lot of big time games in front of coaches against incredible opponents. So, and we get that, like I told you, night in and night out with the Lake Conference. But I mean, I try really hard not to micromanage during games, try not to fill their heads. That's what we do during practice, so that it just kind of comes out naturally during games. And I think, yeah, I think that gives the kids the confidence that I've got their back no matter what. You know, we've put them in a position to do their best, and they go out there and do it time and time again. Yes.
And this one will go to the players. Let's say someone's coming to an Eden Prairie game that's never seen your team. I don't know where they've been, but let's say they haven't seen your team yet. What are they going to see at an Eden Prairie game? We'll start with Nia.
Well, they'll definitely see our bench. Our bench is probably what what people most recognize us. I know I've talked to a lot of people and they don't like playing against us because of our bench, because we're just so loud and we just like we're really into the game, like Myra said earlier. So that's definitely the biggest factor.
Myra, what do you think they're going to see if they come to an Eden Prairie game and they've never seen Eden Prairie play?
Yeah, well, the thing that I thought of was our bench, but also our energy just on the court too. Just going after every ball, effort. Yeah.
And now any one of you three can answer this. Who's the hype person on the team? A big and one, a massive block, a good play. Who's that person that's going to get, if it's either someone on the bench, on the court, who's going to get the crowd, the team hyped?
Definitely Myra.
And Nia. I would say me and Nia both.
Okay.
I thought they were going to say coach. I thought coach get them hyped up.
No, it is these guys. Yeah. They are so good at, a kid's on the ground. They are going to sprint and pick her up. The and ones, the blocks, anything. And the other thing I love is that they're going to be that enthusiastic and that hyped. Like let's say we're way ahead in the game and we get a lot of kids in who haven't played. That to me is one of the coolest things about the Eden Prairie culture. I mean, you'll see these three and everybody else just going nuts when it's somebody that's getting like their first minutes in a varsity game. So it continues throughout the game. And yeah, I agree, you guys. That's definitely the first thing they're going to notice. It's not going to be our scoreboard, that's for sure.
I like it. So now we'll kind of get to know the players a little bit. I always ask this question to all three. Is there a basketball player, male, female, WNBA, NBA, college, that you have modeled your game after, kind of enjoyed watching through the years, that you kind of emulated, or just someone maybe, if not that maybe a really big fan of in terms of, we'll start with Nia.
I think one of my favorite basketball players I've really tried to like make my game like is Asia Wilson, just because she's not like the biggest post in the league, but she really knows how to use her size, and she can also like step out in front of the post and shoot and stuff like that. So I think I've really tried to mirror my game after her.
Now I feel bad. The Lynx are playing Asia on ESPN2 and I took you away for an interview.
I know, it was a good game.
Myra, is there any player that comes to mind for you?
I've always looked up to Myra Moore a lot. I liked going to her games and watching. I really liked her as a person on and off the court. So.
And Molly, point guard.
Sue Bird. I just love how she controls the game and passes the ball.
That's a good one. Just got her 5th gold medal too. So I mean, she's still going. She running the WNBA.
Yeah.
Coach, we'll ask you: is there any player, from a fan perspective, from your days, any player, NBA, WNBA, college, that you enjoyed watching? Anything of that nature?
Well, I'm a Hoosier, so you gotta. I go back to all the great Hoosiers out there. Yeah, I was at Indiana School of Law when Calbert Cheney was there, and I was all the Steve Alford and the Joe Hillman and all of them. But also my parents were involved in the investment group that owned the Indiana Pacers as an ABA
nice.
Franchise. Yeah, and actually I was just home and we were talking about how I can't believe they like after every home game, they asked all the players and significant others to come to the house, and they'd come in and they'd sit around the little card tables and eat. And yeah, so I grew up with some really good memories that way. Very unique.
So then along that line, we'll start with Molly. Is there a player, now we're gonna be Minnesota girls basketball, historical or current, that you've never had a chance to play with, AAU, high school or other, that if you had this chance, current or present or current, or past or current, that if you had the chance, you would love to play with them?
One that I can think like a past player is maybe Rachel Banham, just because she plays the point guard position and like she's gone so far in her career playing professionally. So I think it would have been cool like to be able to play with her and learn from her.
Myra, how about you? A player past or present that you would have loved to have a chance to play with?
I feel like a pretty obvious one, Paige Beckers. We've always played against her, but she's really good, so I'd like to play with her sometime, but yeah.
How about you, Nia?
I would probably say Jackie Johnson. She went to Eden Prairie a long time ago, and I used to like watch her games when I was younger, and I think it would be really cool to play with her now.
Her and the duo, Shane Mullaney. I remember watching them play.
It's a good memory. Yep.
And then coach, we'll kick it to you. How about a player that you've never had a chance to coach, past or present, Minnesota high school girls basketball, that you'd love a chance to coach?
Oh, I didn't see that one coming. Gosh. I will go with I'll go a little old school and go with like a Leslie Knight. Yeah, kind of old school,
Hopkins.
but yeah.
The footwork queen. She had that footwork in the paint. She was going to find a way to get to that basket and not travel and get, I mean, she would get you jumping every which way. I remember Leslie Knight.
Yeah, and talk about longevity of a career. Yeah.
She's still overseas, I'm pretty
I
sure. I think she's
know.
still overseas.
Yeah.
And so we'll stick, I said, we'll kick it, we'll keep it going here when it comes to questions. So when it comes to this year, Nia, you know, I'll give you guys some of your night back. I know the game's still going. I want you to see Asia lose to the Lynx, hopefully. But, what would you say for this year? Wrap it up in one sentence. What you want to accomplish, you know, describe this year, what you want to see this year, how you feel about this year, anything of that in one sentence on what you feel Eden Prairie 2021-2022 season feel about it.
I would just hope that we can be adaptable.
Myra, same question.
State.
I
That's
like
all.
it. Just a statement, not a sentence, just a statement.
That's all.
Molly, we'll kick it to you. Statement, sentence, word.
State, yeah.
I'm worried though. I mean, if you guys get to state, Nia's going to be on her own. We're going to get a home court game for Nia out there in the bar. Coach, same question. Kind of one sentence to, you know, for the 2021-2022 Eden Prairie season coming up.
Play to our potential.
I like it. Well, once again, I promise I'll give you ladies your night back a little bit. Enjoy it. I want to say thank you so much for doing this. You will for sure be seeing me in your gym because I do enjoy your games. I'll be watching for the bench reaction. So now I'm know where to focus instead of the game. So if I'm missing something, I'm focusing on the bench.
That's where you should be. Yep.
But thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I said, but I will be in your gym and good luck this season. I cannot wait to see you guys back on the court.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See
Have a
ya.
good night.
Bye.
Bye.